So remember, for word problems, the key is to first find out what we're looking for, right? So first find out what we're looking for. In this case, I'll use the same problem, right? So um, let's read the problem first. Emily went to Staples to buy school supplies. She first bought a pack of markers that cost X amount of money. She then bought a backpack for $22. The backpack was $10 more than 3 times the price of the markers. So how much did the pack of markers cost? So in this case, we're looking for the pack of markers, right? So that is the question that we're asking. So we'll set X equals price. I'll use the dollar sign of markers. And now we have to set up an equation, right? So um, the backpack was $10 more than 3 times the price of the markers. So we have 3x, right? So 3 times the price of the markers, and then plus 10, right? So 10 more dollars than 3 times the price of the marker. And then we'll set that equal to 22. And then does someone remember how we can solve this? Does someone remember how we can solve it? Claire?
You first have to minus 10 on both sides.
So we get 3x
And
equals
that it equals 12 because 10 minus 10, so those two are canceled out, and 22 minus 10 is 12.
and then are we done?
Yeah.
Not yet, right? So we still have 3x equals 12. So we need to find what x is. So we can divide on both sides, and we finish with x equals 4, right? So does that make sense? All right, so now let's change up the numbers a little bit, okay? So let's change up the numbers a little bit and everyone try this. So how about we, um, so let's cross out 22, let's cross out 10, let's cross out 3. Let's try a backpack with, that costs $30, okay? And it is $22 more than 4 times the cost of the marker. So everyone try that, right? So she bought a backpack for $30, and then the backpack was $22 more than 4 times the price of the markers. So how much did the pack of markers cost? So everyone try this. First, ask ourselves, what are we looking for? And then try to set up an equation, and then finally we can solve it. So first, remember x equals price of markers. And then now we have to set up an equation that can help us find what x is. So yeah, let me know in the chat once you have finished. If you can't, if you're not sure how to set it up, maybe you can guess your way to the answer. I think that might also be, if you're stuck, you can maybe guess your way to the answer. Maybe you don't have to set up an equation. You can maybe just think about it a little bit and then see if you can come up with the answer, right? So $20 more than 4 times the price of the markers. So here, I'll help you set up the equation for now. So now let's look at the second to last symbol. So $22 more than 4 times the price of the markers. So we know that the price of markers is X. We do 4 times the price of the markers, and then we add 22. And then that finally equals 30. Right? So there we have our equation, right? So 4 times and $22 more than 4 times the price of the markers equals 30. So how can we solve for x? So remember, we want to isolate x onto one side. So we want to get x equals something, right? So we have to move stuff from this side to the other side. All right. Kaden, what do you think is the first step here?
Don't know.
Well, you got the answer right. So how did you come up with the answer?
Usually, I try just did 40 minus 22, then how
Exactly.
many fours go into 8 is 2.
Good. So that's the first step, right? You subtract 22 on both sides to get 4x equals 8. And then from here, we divide, right? So divide by 4, and then x equals 2. Okay, so my plan initially was to just do more word problems as a little warm up and then go into our activity. But I think let's just jump straight into the activity, right? So, are you guys ready? Are you guys ready? Yes? No? All right. So, um, oh wait, do you have more people in the waiting room? Oops. Okay. So Alan, welcome. This is our last class. So what we're doing right now, we're just gonna jump into um a sort of a activity, right? So here's how it's gonna go. I have prepared 15 questions from everything that we learned today. So or everything that we learned over the past 5 weeks. So it involves fractions, decimals, negative numbers, algebra. So there's a lot, okay? So if you guys have been paying attention, you should be able to do all of these. So here's how it's gonna work. So let's say we have the first question, right? So we have 4 answer choices. So it's kind of like a Kahoot, right? But um, so I'll give you guys like a minute or maybe 2 minutes per question, depending on the difficulty. And then you're gonna try to solve the question. And then once you're done, tell me the letter choice in the chat, A, B, C, or D. So here's how it's gonna work. If you get the answer correct on your first try, you'll get 3 points. If you get it on your second try, it'll be it'll be 2 points. And if you get it on your third try, you'll get 1 point. And if you miss it all 3 times, you'll get 0 points. So that's how it's gonna work. So you'll have multiple tries to get points. But if you get it correctly the first time, you'll get more points. So that's how it's gonna work. So do you guys understand how we're how the format of this? So yeah. So take your time, but at the same time, you don't want to run out of time, right? So depending on the difficulty, I'll give you a certain amount of time. So are you ready? I'll give you guys 1 minute for this question because it's addition, right? So 1 minute. Are you guys ready? Okay, the timer will start now. And remember, just message me the answer when you are done. Okay, and I'll be keeping track. I'll be keeping track of the scores. Okay, so a lot of you are getting the answer correct. Okay, very nice. Okay, 30 more seconds. Yeah, also just message me the letter instead of typing out the whole thing. I think that might be a bit easier. Okay, time's up. So the correct answer in this case was D. All right, so 1,290. Does anyone have any questions with this problem? Um, it's just addition, right? So 582 plus 7, 10. You have to just be careful, right? Make sure you're not making any addition mistakes, and we get D as our final answer. Okay, is everyone good with this? Okay, good. On to the next question. And this one will also be a minute. Okay, so oops, I can't move on. Okay, question number 2. 512 minus 145, 1 minute, and this timer starts now. Or subtraction, I mean. So be careful. It is a bit tricky. You have to remember to borrow if necessary. Okay, very good. Around 30 more seconds. Okay, good. Um, okay, time's up. But this is a bit tricky actually. I just realized I won't give you much time if you do get it wrong, but I'll try to be quicker, right? If you do get the question wrong, I will try to tell you that as soon as possible. But in this case, 512 minus 145, right? So 2 minus 5, that's not possible. And 1 minus 4, that also is impossible. So we have to look at 5 minus 1. So we can borrow 1 from here, make this an 11. We can't subtract just yet, right? We still need something for the 2 here. We get here. And then now we can finally subtract once the top numbers are all bigger than the bottom. So this one will be A. Okay, so let's move on. You guys are all doing pretty well. It is a bit of a time rush. Okay, that's the main thing about these questions. There's a time. Right? So this one, I'll give you guys maybe a minute and a half. All right, get started. I'll try to let you know earlier if you don't get it right, but yeah. So 54 times 29. There's multiplication, 2-digit by 2 years. So I'll give you a bit more time for this one. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more minute. Give you guys some bonus time for this one since it's a bit tough. Very good. 1, 2, 3. She's waiting on a few more people. I'll give you guys a few more seconds. And remember, if you guys aren't sure, guessing is always an option, right? Because you'll have second chances and you maybe get 2 points or 1 point depending on if you guess it right. Okay. Let's move on. So actually, who wants to do this problem? 54 times 29. Who wants to do this one? Dennis? Okay. Just feel free to annotate on the screen.
Okay, now I'm looking at. Okay, so
Or maybe write a bit higher. You might run out of space, but okay, never. Just go for it, I guess. Up to you. If you can fit everything in there.
Okay. 9 times 4 or 4 times 9 is 36. So I do a 6 here, and then a 3 here, and then 5 times 9 is 45. So 45 plus 3 is 48. So I just do a...
Very good.
Okay. Now we're done with this hundreds place. And at the bottom number, it's basically just 54 times 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. So I put a 8 here. Oh, there's no numbers here, so I can just do 5 times 2 is 10. Okay. Now basically we just do addition now. 6 plus nothing is 6. 8 plus 8 is 16. 4 plus 1 is 5. And then finally 1 plus nothing is 1. So it's 1,566.
D. Okay, very good. So very well done. Seems like a lot of you are still remember your multiplication, which is good. Right now, 3 people are tied for first place with 9 points. But since we have a lot of questions left, everyone can still has a chance to catch up, right? So, all right. So next one, I'll give you guys around 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes again. It's gonna be long division, right? Get ready, go. Long division. See who still remembers. It's been quite a while, actually. We learned this in week 2. Okay, very good. 1, 2, 3. This one's a bit tough. All right, so I'm just gonna put it out there. It's 594 divided by 3, right? So also remember, if you don't remember how to do it, it's fine to just guess maybe, or make an educated guess, I should say. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 30 more seconds. Long division, very tricky. Probably much harder than multiplication in my opinion. So A, 203, B, 198, C, 176, or D, 3.141592653558. All right, 10 more seconds. If you haven't finished, maybe just toss an answer to chat. Hopefully you get it right, I guess. All right. Okay, time's up. It's okay if you didn't finish yet, but also clear. The answer will always be on the screen, right? So if you get an answer that is not on the screen, then it's probably incorrect. So double check your work if the answer does not show up on the screen. All right. Okay, long division. Who wants to do this one? Any volunteers? Caden. Let's see you do it.
So when we do it, is how many 3 is going to 5? Since we can't go higher than it's going to be 1 minus 3 equals 2. Then we pull the 9 down. Then how many 3 is on 29? The lowest number is 27, so we minus by 27. Then we write 9 up here. And then we write 2. Then pull the 7 4 down. Then we do how many 3 is going to 24. It'll be 8. Then remainder is 0. The remainder is 0.
Good, very good. So yeah. So remember, we have to ask ourselves how many 3s can fit into a 5 first. So we get 1, right? So there's only 1 3 can fit, because if we have 2 3s, that'll make a 6, and that's too much. And now we do 3 times 1, and that's where we get the number that we subtract, and we get 2. And then we pull the 9 down, right? Bring the 9 down. And we have to ask ourselves again, how many 3s can fit into 29? And as Kaden said, 9 3s can fit, right? 27. And then we multiply these again, 3 times 9, 27. That's what we subtract. And finally, we bring the 4 down, 24. 8 3s can fit exactly into 24, and then minus 24 and we get 0. So the answer is B. Very good. Okay. So also as a bonus, does anyone know what this is? What this number is? Does anyone know? Claire?
Pi.
Pi. Very good. This is actually something that I want. Maybe you learn in maybe 6th grade, 7th grade, but this is actually called pi. It's like the pie like that you eat, but without the e. So it's pi. So this is pi. And what pi is, we use pi to find stuff that's related to the circle. Maybe you want to find the area of a circle, then you need pi in order to find it. All right. So that I just put it out there as like a funny option, but that's what it is. Pi. Okay. Very cool. All right. Now for number 5, I forgot what it is, but wait. Okay, so fractions. 3 over 8 plus 7 over 8. So this one's pretty simple, so I'll only give you 1 minute. Go. Fractions, right? Adding fractions, adding and multiplying fractions. Let's see. Oh, remember to simplify. Okay, that's very important. Remember to simplify. Dennis, that is close but not quite. Try again so you can maybe get 2 points or 1 point. Charlotte, that isn't correct either. Take another guess. Sounds tricky, right? Remember to simplify. That's very important. Remember to simplify. And it's addition. Watch, it's addition. Right, you still have a chance to second points, right? Second point chance. So take another guess. If I called your name. Okay, very good. Okay. 10 more seconds. Okay, time is up. All right. So who can explain their answer? Who is confident that they got it right and can explain their answer? Claire? Did you raise your hand or?
So,
So 3 over 8 plus 7 over 8.
so 8, it has to times 8 and山西还有陕西是一样的吗？
Okay. Okay, so I'm assuming you got 80 over 64. Well, this is technically correct, but it isn't in its simplest form, right? You can simplify this definitely. Um, it is interesting how you use the way we do it when we add two fractions that do not have the same denominator, right? This is the method that we use if let's say we have 3/5 plus 4 over 7. In this case, we have to use this method because the denominators are not equal. But remember, you're just making it, you're just making yourself do extra work, right? I mean, this will still give you the right answer, but it's doing extra work, right? In this case, we can just, because the denominators are equal already, right? So we can just add straight across. Does that make sense? We can just get 10 over 8 right away without doing all the extra work. But a lot of you answered A, 10 over 8, but this is not the final answer. We still have to simplify, right? So we can divide the top by 2 and divide the bottom by 2, and which would yields 5 over 4. So does everyone understand now for this one? Thumbs up. Okay, very good. So this one would be C, all right? So remember to simplify. That is key. Remember to simplify. Okay, on to the next one. Is everyone ready? Question number 6. 5 over 6 times 2 over 3, right? So um, I'll give you guys a minute and a half for this, right? So be careful. And remember to simplify. That is very key. Remember to simplify. So 5 over 6 times 2 over 3. What will that give us? Let's get started. Everyone get started. Time's ticking. 5 over 6 times 2 over 3. Remember to simplify. Remember to simplify. Okay. 30 more seconds, right? 30 more seconds. Ooh. Alan, that's close, but not quite. Remember to simplify, right? Remember to simplify. 15 more seconds. 15 more seconds. Remember, if I tell you it's not right the first time, you can always try again, and you might get 2 points or 1 point depending on how you do. All right, so there's always second chance points. All right, but time is up for this question. Okay, so multiplying fractions, right? So Kaden, do you want to explain how you did this one, multiplying fractions?
First, I wrote this thing, then root 6 times 3 was 18, then do 10, then I divided it by 2. Then I wrote 9, then y5 on top.
Exactly, right? So we have to simplify our fraction. That is very important, right? So multiplying fractions, remember, the denominator can be different. That's fine when multiplying, but when multiplying, we just multiply straight across. We get 10 over 18, right? 5 times 2 is 10, so 10 3 is 18. But then we realize that this is not in the simplest form because, first of all, you can just tell both of them are even numbers. So the first thing you could try is just 2. So 10 divided by 2, 18 divided by 2, you get 5 over 9. And when we look at this, it looks pretty simplified, right? There's not another number that can be divisible by both that is an integer and it's greater than 1. So in this case, 5 over 9 is the correct answer. So it's B. All right. Okay, on to okay. Does anyone have any questions? I think that's really important. If anyone has questions, just feel free to speak up and ask me because this is a bit of a review, right? I want everyone to make sure we understand this on the last class. Okay, sounds good then. Let's go into question 7. Is everyone ready? Yeah. Okay. Good. Question 7. Okay, now we're adding fractions with different denominators, right? So be careful. 4 over 3 plus 5 over 7. I'll give you guys 2 minutes for this one since it might take a bit long. 4 over 3 plus 5 over 7. The competition's still very close, right? So any one of you can catch up right now. Okay. Very nice. Remember, when the denominators are different, we have to somehow create the same denominators for both, and then we can add up. I'll be getting some water, so be right back. Okay, one more minute. Remember, if you're unsure, you can always just take an educated guess, right? There's no penalty for getting it wrong. Remember that. Ooh, Dennis, that's not quite. Try again. It's close, but not quite. I'll actually give you guys like 30 more seconds maybe. Since this is actually a tough question. So all right, time's up. This one's a bit tough, right? So I think we should do a bit of review on this. So first, can someone just tell me the first step? What is the first step that we should do? Dennis, what do you think? What should be the first step in solving this problem?
Let me see. Okay. Okay. I'm not really sure, but I think you need to since what did I like since I can't do for something in between 5, then I think you should do instead of that, I think you should do 4 times 5.
Ooh, so remember, it's the denominators that have to be the same when adding. So like 1/2 plus 3/2. This we can add, right? So 4/2. But we don't really care about if the numerators are the same or not. It's only you have to make sure that the denominators are the same. The number on the bottom has to be the same. So in that case, what should we do instead? Instead of doing the 4 and the 5, which two
I
numbers?
think you should do 3 times 7.
Exactly, right? So we need to
So
now create. Keep going.
3 times 7 is 21.
Oh yeah, sorry. Just re-annotate that.
21, and then wait, do I write another 21?
Yeah, right. We need to create 2 new fractions, right? 2 new fractions.
Okay. Now 2 21s, and then
How can we change 4/3 into something over 21?
do I simplify it?
You want to get a new fraction, right? So first, how do we get from 3 to 21?
Oh, 3 to 21, I just multiply it by 7.
So what else should we do then? If you multiply the bottom by 7, what should we do? How do we get the question mark?
Four.
Okay, so we must also multiply the top, right? What we did to the bottom, we must also do to the top. So we multiply the bottom by 7, we must also multiply the top by 7. So in this case, this question mark is 28. So now try the second one. So 5/7, or oops. So it's not both 21, not both of them are not 21. So let's take a look at 5/7. Right? So 5/7 equals question mark over 21. So using the same method, so how can we find out the question mark for this one?
Now I know that, so let me just do something. Okay. Now I just do 7 times 3, and then 5 times 3. Okay. So I know that 7 times 3 is 21 because it's there. 5 times 3 is 15. So now here is 15.
So what's the final answer?
Since the denominators are the same, I just need to add up these two. So 28 plus 15 . So 13, right here I do 13, but here I have the 1. And the 1 plus 1 is 2, and then this one has a 2 already, so 2 turns into a 4, so it's 43. So now I just do 43 over 21.
So good. So that in that case, the answer will be D. But this one's a bit tricky. I think a bunch of you need a bit of review on adding fractions with different denominators, but that's okay. All right. So good job. All right. So question number 8. All right. So we're halfway here, kind of. a bit less than halfway. So get ready. Question number 8 is coming up. Oops, that's question 9. Question 8. So at what place value is the 6 in 24.568? So this one's a bit tricky. I only went over this briefly. So let's see who remembers, right? Okay. So what place value is the 6? Oops, sorry about that. This 6 right here. What place value? Ooh, Kaden, that is close but not quite. Try again. This one's like decimals, right? So a bit tricky. Remember, if you guess it right on your second try, you get 2 points. Guess it right on your first try, it's 3 points, and if you guess it on your third try, it's 1 point. So you still have multiple opportunities. Dennis, close but not quite. Try again, and Kaden as well. Try again. So 24.568. So know that this is the tens place, right? Tens place. This is the ones place. So how about the stuff to the right of the decimal? Do you remember what those are called? 15 more seconds, guys. Put in your last guesses. Okay, good. Kidding, get 1 point in that case. Claire, what does 2 mean? Be close. Okay, but time is up. Okay, time is up. So remember the place value for decimals are a bit tricky, right? So a bit tricky. So we have 24 points. So you know that this is the 2 is the tens place, right? And then the 4 is the ones place. So I'll put T here and O here for ones. But in this case, we don't repeat ones again. So it's not once. That does not exist. So in this case, this will be the tenths place, right? So remember that big 10 by 10 square I drew, or we had earlier. Just pretend that this is a 10 by 10. So each stick, right, each bar represented 0.1. So that's like, and there were 10 dots in that one bar. So that's the tenths, right, the tenths. So in that case, 6 will be hundredths and 8 will be thousands, right? So this one's a bit tricky. Good job to those who got it correctly. Okay, so on to question 9, okay? So this one's more decimals. Ready and begin. So I'll give you guys maybe 2 minutes for this one. The triangle has side lengths 3.4 centimeters, 1.5 centimeters, and 2.7 centimeters. What is the perimeter? Remember, perimeter means all the sides added up, all the sides of a shape that added up together. The perimeter of the triangle. Okay, very good. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Adding decimals. Remember, lining up the decimal point is key. Okay, very good. 1, 2, 3. I'm tallying up all your points here, so um, okay. So I'll give you guys maybe a minute longer. So perimeter means, oops, I did not mean to go there. the side lengths of a triangle added up, right? So side 1, 2, and 3, add them all up, and you'll get the perimeter of the triangle. So 15 more seconds, I guess. I'll put in your final answers if you haven't already. And yeah. Ooh, Alan close. But unfortunately, time is up. So who wants to try this one? Adding up the sides of a triangle. Dennis, how about you? Your hands up.
Okay. So, okay. 3 point
Yeah, sorry, I didn't leave you that much space.
4, and then 1 point,
Okay, Alan, I'll give you 2 points, I guess. Yeah, keep going, sorry. Keep going.
and then 2.7. I didn't really line them up, but I know which one is which. Okay, it's basically just 4, 5, 7 on these. You just add them up in these 3, 1, 2. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7 plus 5 is 12. And then 12 plus 4 is 16. 16, I put it here. Okay. 3 plus 1 is just 4. And then 4 plus 2 is 6. But then there's one more here that I put here. So it turns into a 7. So 7, the answer should be 7.6. So it's A.
Very good, right? So very nice. So perimeter, right? So adding decimals, remember the key thing is to just line up the decimal point, and then the rest is just normal addition, right? So there's that. Okay, very good. So let's move on. Still have a few more questions. I think we've been going a bit slowly, so I'll be giving you a bit less time. So try to work faster, and if there isn't much time left, make an educated guess, right? Make a smart guess. All right, negative numbers. I'll give you guys a minute for this. A minute for this one. So it's a bit tricky. All right, so pay close attention, and yeah. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Kaden, not quite. Try again. Claire as well. Give it another try. Look at the signs very closely, right? Pay attention to the signs. It's -6 plus 7 and then plus -1. So you have to be careful here. The answer is on the screen, right? So if you get an answer different from what is on the screen, then double check your work. Negative numbers are tricky, right? So negative numbers are tricky. -6 plus 7 plus -1. Getting close, but it's still not right. You still have one more guess left. I'm gonna give you guys 10 more seconds, right? Okay, good. I'll give you 1 point. Put in your final guesses. Time is almost up. Okay, very good. 1, 2, 3. And time, right? So for this one, -6 plus 7, right? So you have to think 7 is a bit bigger than 6, so this should be positive, right? So we should get a +1 here. -6 plus 7, and then plus -1. 1 plus -1, that just cancel each other out, and you get a 0 here, right? So that should be C 0. So negative numbers are tricky, but you just have to do more practice, right? Okay, good. Now question 11. So more negative numbers, right? So give this one a try. 3 times -4 times 4. Good luck. I'll give you guys a minute for this one as well. Okay. Very good. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Okay. And okay, I'll take down your square as well. 1, 2, 3. 10 more seconds. And that is time. So everyone who did say something, put something in the chat, got the answer right. It is C, negative 48, right? So 3 times negative 4, that gives us negative 12 because the signs are opposite, right? We have positive and negative. And then times 4, again, it's 1 positive and 1 negative, so that will give us negative 48. Maybe I should have put 48 as one of the answers to trick you guys a little bit, but that was my mistake of making it a bit too easy. All right, so question number 12. Solve for x. So now we're getting back into algebra, right? So this one's a bit tricky, so good luck. I'll give you guys a minute for this one as well, since we are running a bit low on time. Okay.
Wait, I wasn't here on the last class.
Yeah, I know, but just try your best, right? So we're trying to find what x is, right? And this is basically 3 times x, 3 times something equals 36. So that's basically what it's asking for. Claire, that's close, but not quite. So we want to find what x is. 3 times something equals 36. So what is that something? Okay, very good. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Claire, I'll give you 2 points since that was your second guess. Okay, very good. I think I'll call time here, and this one's pretty straightforward. If we want to use algebra and solve this, we divide by 3 on both sides, right? So we divide, oops, I'm on the wrong question. All right, let's go back. Okay, so 3x equals 30. So to solve for x, we want to get x by itself, right? So x equals something. So we need to get rid of this 3. So you can divide by 3 on both sides, right? And we get 1x, which is the same thing as x, right? So x equals 36 divided by 3, and that gives us 12. So that's B. Okay, very good. So I know, Dennis, you weren't here on Monday, but try your best, right? Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Question
But I
number,
did get the question right?
yeah. So even though you weren't here, you can still somehow, still get the answer right. So let's try your best. All right, number 13, more algebra, right? 5x plus 3 equals 58. So again, 5 times something, and then we add 3 to that, and then we get 58 as our answer. So I guess you can think of it that way. Running a bit low of time, so I'll give you guys maybe a minute here as well. I want to get to all the questions if possible. Five x plus 3 equals 58. Okay, very good. 1, 2. And if you're stuck, I guess you can try plugging numbers in, right? So put 12 into x, see if that works. Put 13 in there, put 11, put 50 in there, see if that gives the right answer. So let's say we try 50, 5 times 50 plus 3. Will that equal 58? Getting close, but not quite. 43. That's not one of the answer choices. But I think I'll call it here, right? So I know I didn't give you that much time, but algebra, but we are running out of time. So we must get x by itself, right? So we can subtract 3 on both sides, get rid of the 3, right? So in that case, 3 plus positive 3 minus 3 is 0, so we get 5x equals 55. And then from here, divide by 5, and we get x equals 11. And if we put it back in, it makes sense, right? So 5 times 11 is 55. 55 plus 3 is 58, so that works out. And this will be D. Okay. 2 more. So this one's a bit tricky, right? But just try your best. Old McDonald at Old McDonald's farm, there are only chickens and pigs. In total, there are 13 animals with 34 legs in total. How many chickens are there? So I didn't teach you the algebra way for doing this because that will be a bit too complicated. That's what they're learning in Zachary's class, right? So it is a bit tricky, but in this case, just maybe use the way I taught you, right? First, try a combination, and then from there, change up the numbers until you reach the final answer, all right? So again, I'll give you 1 minute for this because we are running very short on time. Just put in your guesses if you're unsure for this one. Or you can just try, right? Just try random combinations until you come with the final answer. Ooh, C is close, but not quite. Okay, A. And it is time, right? So sorry I didn't give you that much time, but that is all we have for today. And this is the last class, so this is probably the last time I'll be seeing you for this class. Maybe we can come back and we have another class, but that's all we have for today. And for the final score, we actually have a tie between Kaden and Alan, both with 35 points. So very good. And Dennis was actually very close behind as well. So good job. Claire and Charlotte, you also put up a few points, which is very good. All right. So thank you all for coming, and have a nice day, everyone. I'll see you guys later sometime, hopefully. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.